Brazil can call on Vinicius Junior, Raphinha, and perhaps even Neymar. And yet, at this World Cup, it's Matheus Cunha who's beginning to look like their saviour.
Slips it through, and then it's fired!
Yes, Haiti may be ranked 87th in the world, but the pressure on Brazil was already sky high after a frustrating draw with Morocco, when a forward line led by Igor Thiago looked painfully blunt. But with Cunha up front, Brazil suddenly looked like Brazil again. Sharp, fluid and dangerous. A sight that Manchester United fans will know all too well. But how did Cunha, in the space of just 12 months, go from a talented but uncertain forward to a central figure at United? And now perhaps the man Brazil are turning to on the biggest stage of all. Last season, Cunha was one of those players outside the Premier League's Big Six who truly deserved a big money move. However, his journey to this point has been anything but smooth. After bursting onto the scene in the Bundesliga with Hertha Berlin, he faced a stark reality following his high-profile €30 million move to Atletico Madrid. There he found himself sidelined, starting just 10 league games in a troubling 2 years and ultimately missing out on the Brazil squad for the 2022 World Cup, a setback that could have dimmed the brightest of futures. After joining Wolves on loan midway through the U22-23 season, his start there was rocky as well as he struggled to adapt to the pace and physicality of the Premier League and managed just 2 goals in 12 starts. However, under managers Gary O'Neill and then Vitor Pereira, Cunha rediscovered his scoring touch and went on to contribute to 38 league goals, around 39% of Wolves' total goals over the last 2 seasons. And despite playing for a team that finished 16th last season and 14th the year before, he still recorded more goals and assists in either season than any United player. Seriously, he was practically stat padding and at a relegation-threatened team, no less. What's more, as if to kickstart a villain origin story and silence critics in Brazil regarding his omission from the previous World Cup, Cunha's 15 league goals last season took him level with Roberto Firmino and Gabriel Martinelli for the most goals by a Brazilian player in a single Premier League season. And had he not missed 6 games due to suspension for his MMA antics, he would have likely surpassed those big names. Having thrived playing off of Jurgen Strand Larsen up top, his impressive goal return underscored the immense attacking responsibility he shouldered for Wolves, almost single-handedly keeping them in the Premier League for 2 consecutive seasons. It was clear that he was ready for a new challenge. By the way, if you're enjoying the video so far, we'd be incredibly grateful if you subscribed. Your support helps us grow and continue creating the content you love. Never mind what his stats showed, United have had first-hand nightmares of Cunha over the past 2 seasons. He first terrorised the Red Devils on the opening match day of the 23-24 season, which they scraped by 1-0 thanks to a highly controversial decision not to award Wolves a stoppage time penalty. In that game, Cunha repeatedly carved his way through United's defence like a hot knife through butter and came close to scoring on several occasions, including hitting the post and firing just wide.
Obviously United won 1-0, but that was when, personally, and I think a lot of people really took notice of you at United.
In the return fixture, he provided an assist in Wolves' thrilling 4-3 win at the Molineux, and was once again their talisman in a 2-0 win at the same ground last season, scoring a breathtaking Olympico directly from a corner. As a United fan, I felt physically sick watching Cunha, if I'm being honest with you. But hey, if you can't beat them, buy them. And so Cunha naturally became a transfer target for United as they sought to revitalise their attack, which had barely averaged 1.2 goals per league game last season. In stark contrast with Rasmus Højlund and Joshua Zirkzee managing only 7 league goals between them, utterly diabolical. Cunha's 15 league goals, plus an additional 2 in the FA Cup, highlighted his scoring prowess. But beyond his Premier League experience, what made Cunha especially appealing was his familiarity with the system employed by Amorim at United. Having played as the left-sided number 10 in a 3-4-2-1 under Pereira since December 2024, he was well suited to make an immediate impact.
This was the no-brainer. This was the banker. This was the one that couldn't fail. This was one that's never failed.
From this position, Cunha is as threatening in creating chances as he is scoring them. Case in point, he wasn't just Wolves' top scorer, but also their leading creator of chances in open play, expected assists, while ranking second in actual assists. Cunha also had more take-ons in the league than any of his teammates, and with a deft touch that contradicts his 6-foot frame, he is capable of driving his team forward single-handedly with his close control. That said, Amorim favoured a complementary pairing in his number 10s, one being a creator and the other tasked with making incisive runs. But while fellow summer arrival Brian Mbeumo quickly settled into the latter role, Cunha would end up struggling to adjust to Amorim's tactical demands. If there's one thing United's overhaul in attack revealed, it's that the club firmly believed their disastrous campaign last season stemmed from a lack of firepower. The new attacking potential was certainly there for all to see. However, scepticism still surrounded their hefty signings. After all, United's player recruitment in the post-Ferguson era has so often been criticised for being erratic and misguided, especially given the staggering £2 billion spent on transfer fees alone since 2013. Yet by signing Cunha and Mbeumo, it felt like the club was finally making smart decisions in the transfer market. Sure, some may downplay the duo as obvious buys, but it is the club's expectations of them that are crucial for assessing their true impact. If the aim in signing them was for them to replicate their previous goals output, it would have been akin to setting them up for failure, given the previous lacklustre state of the team's attack. Still, they both rocked up to United with goals, albeit with varying degrees of volume and frequency throughout the season. On one hand, Mbeumo found his scoring touch early in the season and emerged as the first success story of United's summer window, supported superbly by makeshift right-wing back Amad Diallo behind him. Together they have forged a strong chemistry down the right flank, becoming United's primary avenue for attacking play. For Cunha, meanwhile, the weight of being an expensive signing and the pressure to replicate his prolific form at Wolves has been a noticeable burden, often showing in his reactions to missed chances. After all, it was the 26-year-old's impressive 15 league goals for Wolves that had single-handedly kept them from being relegated last season. So to suddenly find himself needing to wait until late October to score his first goal after a run of 9 games must have taken a toll on his confidence. Of course, beyond the stats, there have also been positive signs from the Brazilian all season. This was particularly evident on the opening match day against Arsenal and, more notably, during United's famous 2-1 win over Liverpool, where, despite not contributing in terms of goals or assists, his influence was crucial to United's first victory at Anfield in over a decade. As the number 10s in Amorim's 3-4-2-1 system, both he and Mbeumo injected new life into United's transitional attacks, by being able to better protect possession in the final third and steer clear of the heavy touches and slack passes that used to plague United's attacking rhythm. Their dual-based approach to protecting possession in the final third also gave the team time to push forward and place themselves in better positions to draw fouls and win free kicks in the first place, rather than getting bullied off the ball, as was often the case with Højlund last season. At the same time, their role in the out-of-possession structure significantly strengthened Amorim's side defensively, as they tucked in to form a 5-4-1 to shield the midfield double pivot, one that has been far too open to penetration in the past few seasons. However, like several others in the squad, there was a sense that their roles in Amorim's system were restricting their attacking flair. For Mbeumo, partnering with another similar wide threat in Amad limited the team's tactical variability as they both occupied similar zones, which consequently often left the Cameroonian marked out of games. But the constraints were even more pronounced for Cunha, as the lack of ball progression from United's left side meant that he often had to start his runs from his own half. This frequently led him to take the ball all the way to the opponent's 18-yard box, at which point he would sometimes suffer from tunnel vision, opting to shoot rather than seeking better passing options. Amorim initially granted Cunha the same freedom he enjoyed at Wolves, but the demands were entirely different. The Brazilian often tried to force plays and was wasteful with chances. One could even argue that Cunha was misprofiled. While Amorim wanted to use him as a playmaker, his most natural role, and the one in which he thrived at Wolves, was as a second striker. Like Mbeumo, Cunha is an opportunist, and it was perhaps this misalignment that contributed to his slow start. But with United reverting to a 4-2-3-1 under Carrick, Cunha and Mbeumo have truly been unleashed. Now less is demanded of them tactically, while they are also enjoying greater individual freedom to rely on their instincts, a footballing quality that simply cannot be coached. The first 2 games under Carrick, during which Cunha began on the bench, were crucial for observing and learning the responsibilities of playing alongside a true number 10 in Bruno Fernandes, who was reinstated in his advanced role under the new manager. When Patrick Dorgu, Carrick's first-choice left winger in those 2 matches, suffered an injury in the second game, Cunha seized his opportunity. Since then, his positioning has drastically improved, his effectiveness in carrying the ball has increased, and his confidence has truly returned. Until then, Cunha had managed just 1 goal in more than 20 caps for Brazil, and doubts lingered about whether his club form would ever carry on to the international stage. In truth though, the entire squad was, and perhaps still is, adjusting to life under Carlo Ancelotti, who only took charge last May. But this felt like a turning point for Brazil. With 2 goals on his first ever World Cup start, Cunha didn't just answer his critics, he announced himself to the world. And in doing so, he may well become the man who leads Brazil's charge to end their 24-year wait for a World Cup crown. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe for more content like this. Also, don't forget to hit the notifications bell so you never miss a beat. And with that, we'll see you in the next video.